What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Elite Dangerous. When we left off in the last episode, we were making our way towards a station that I only recently discovered. And I will say, I feel like I totally forgot that they did a massive update to 2.2 or whatever. Because, it seems like the jump drive stuff is a little bit different, or frame shift drive, excuse me, is a little bit different. And what I mean by that is, like, now you see a status, for example. It tells you the jump location, the distance, and the security, and I'm assuming your bounty, because it says clean. And this whole animation thing looks different to me. Like, that looks kind of the same, but something about this looks different. Like, it's wider, it seems like, and there's actually kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel type of thing going on. So I don't know, that might just be my imagination, but they may have changed a few things that it kind of like, oh yeah, they did a huge update. I mean, it is kind of one of those, like, I'm out here in, like, deep space, so how am I gonna notice kind of thing? Like, they made these changes to, you know, ship types that I'm not currently flying. They updated things like, you know, you can have little fighters in combat, which I'm not in combat at the moment. You know, so there's just a lot of things going on where I'm like, I'm not gonna notice the new stuff. So I kind of forgot that they did it, actually.
Frame shift drive charging.
It wasn't until I pulled up the game and actually did the first jump to get going. And I'm gonna try and move at a pretty good clip this episode, because I actually want to go about 1200 instead of 999, whatever I normally do. The reason being that we are about 1200 light years away from the system that we tagged in the last episode that is the closest station, which would be really cool to finally actually have a thumbnail that has a space station in it instead of, you know, like, instead of always being a whatever star we ended up on. Not that that's a bad thing, but, you know, after a while it's like, oh, people, civilization, you know. And I was actually told, which it makes sense, but I was actually told that the profitability, I guess, pretty sure that's a word, of the data that we acquire is based on rarity, not distance from where you discovered it. The only stipulation is that you have to be what is it, like 20 light years or something away from the original system that you found it in. So because of that, we'll probably turn in our data and stuff like that, because it's one of those that I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to see just how much we could make overall. Like, we went all the way from here to Sagittarius A and then back, and we sell all this data and make tons of credits. Yeah, that would be cool. But to me, there's just that since I have the opportunity, it's different when we didn't have the opportunity. I was still planning on dumping all of the data at the Jacques station or whatever. But it's different when you have the opportunity to offload it and you choose not to, because then I'm just thinking, like, eventually something's gonna happen. You know, you pull an Icarus, you get too close to a star, you blow up, you lose all of that data, no one is happy. You know, actually, you know, I didn't even check. I'm such a bad, I'm a bad pilot. I didn't even check to see if there was any new layouts or anything like that, but we are gonna turn our ooh, like this. Has info. Interesting. I am going to turn my shields back on, so they can be charging and whatnot. Mainly...
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, actually, they don't look like they're charging. Oh, that's right. They don't recharge in Super Cruise anymore. Dagnabbit. Well, oh well. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Never mind. False alarm. False alarm, people. We're fine. Everything's fine. Anyways, no, the main reason for that was I've been told to turn my shields back on when I come into, like, civilization type areas because, you know, there's NPCs and whatever, and you never know. They might not like me. I know that's hard to believe, but some people may not like me. It's okay. I'm not bitter. So anyways, that's kind of the plan so far for this episode, is the main goal here is to kind of beeline, so to speak. While we're drifting past here, I'll pull up, because everybody always yells at me for not pulling up the system map ever. Ooh, that's a weird looking star. Oh, there it goes. I was gonna say, I was like, hold on, that's new. Of course, the one time I pull up my, I actually pull up the map, then, then it's like there's nothing to see. Of course. That's the way it always happens. Okay, I'm just kind of double checking to try and make sure that our last jump is scoopable, and it actually didn't look like it was. We've kind of been skimming as we're flying on accident, because a lot of these stars have been on the other side of the current star. So I've kind of just been scooping on accident, but, well, not really accident, but along the way, I suppose. Okay, hold on. We gotta double check some stuff. Alright, where is the end? Oh, okay, we just weren't close enough. Good to go. Good to go. I will say, if we're actually moving like this and you go really fast, you can get a lot more because you can just max out the scoop and it doesn't take you very long to refuel and top off, kind of thing. I know we've tried it like 2 different ways. I'm still not really certain as to which one is the technical faster way to do it. Personally, I like kind of going until I run out and then just sitting for a minute and checking my map and things like that. I don't know. It's kind of, I think, up to a dealer's choice type of thing that I don't think either tactic would really make it that much slower or faster kind of thing. They both kind of seem to come out in the wash to me, at least with the couple of times I tried it out to see which one was a better technique. But how many
fuel scooping?
But see, it's like this is kind of the thing when it's convenient because you have to go around the star anyway. Then to me, there's really no point in not scooping because you're like, it's on your way. You're not really going out of your way or anything. So there's that. This time, I don't know why, but they all just seem to be like behind the current star, so I have to go around it, and when I go around it, I'm like, well, I'll just pick up fuel along the way. But if it's like in the opposite direction, yeah, I don't think that it's actually that much more quote-unquote efficient or whatever to do it like as you're flying, because actually I think that's how it was intended. Was the idea was you would open the scoop, and as you're flying by, it's scooping up the gases and stuff from the star to refuel the ship. I don't think you were, like, I'm not entirely sure if the game developers even intended for you to just sit on the star. I mean, I know, technically speaking, you're not sitting. Even when you kill the throttle in Super Cruise, you're going like, I don't remember what it was, like 30 kilometers per second or something like that. I don't remember what it is, or it's fast though for like normal, considering normal speeds. It's kind of one of those where, like, you know, if you're normally going 2 miles an hour, you're going like 200 miles an hour or something. I mean, it's you're in like Super Cruise mode, so you can't just like stop. So I know you're not really sitting, which is probably why the game developers left it in and allow you to do it that way. But for me, it feels like sitting. So I don't know if you're really supposed to do that or not, or if that's just a byproduct of the game mechanic, but I find it a little less, because to me, it's like you can go, 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 and then when you need to refuel, you stop. And then you could even, like, Alt-Tab and do something else while you're refueling or whatever. So it's kind of convenient to do it that way. But I will say, if it's on your way, I mean, it's on your way. So, like this. And they've done this to me quite a bit on this current route that I have going on, is I end up back to full fuel. But yeah, so, you know, if anybody wanted me to take a little more time and analyze or whatever, I apologize for that one. This is not going to be that episode, because normally it takes me about 30-40 minutes, give or take, depending on how much I dilly-dally and how much we're messing with maps and planning routes and things. So usually that takes me 30-40 minutes or something to get like 1,000 light years, and I need to go 1,200, and then I still have to find the station, because I haven't found everything I pulled up. It just gave me the system. I can't, I'm sure it's out there, but I haven't actually found anything that stated where it was, and I may pause it when I get there and look it up and see if I can find it to save ourselves some time. I don't know. I'll just have to see. We'll just have to see when we get there. But I still need to go about 1,200, which is a little bit further. It's not terrible, but it is significantly further as far as, like, it's going to be a few jumps kind of thing. So, I don't know, though. With fueling up every couple of jumps and then jumping, we're making probably pretty good time. I mean, we're at 24 jumps. We were at, like, 30-something. 32 or something like that. I forget what it started at. But according to my timer, it's like 12 minutes in, so that's not bad. We're doing okay, I suppose. But I'm excited for a system. I feel like that guy that's like been adrift at sea, or like castaway on an island or something, and then you're like, people, land, civilization, you know.
Fuel scooping.
Okay.
Fuel scooping complete.
Thank you.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised at how many of these destinations have been on the other side of stars. This hasn't happened to me that often, actually. Most of the time they're like off to the left or behind you or whatever. But it seems like all of them have been really, really, like, behind, like, you always have to pass the star kind of thing. And I think that's where the discrepancy comes in efficiency. So, if I'm just jumping from one to the next, and the next, and the next, it's not as slow as if you drop in and then you have to fly around the star. Like, you know, like this is kind of more of the scoop while flying method type of thing. Whereas the other method, you're not taking the time to go around the star. You would kind of just be like, okay, boom, go. So there's that. And I think that's where the time gets made up from, is like every couple of stars, if you're having to go around all the time. I don't think it's quite as efficient, but I don't know. You know, what do I know? I mean, I've played this a long time, but I would hardly consider myself an expert on pretty much anything, other than just things that I've learned, as far as, you know, I hate fixed weapons and things of that nature. I do love how many people I get. I haven't in a while, because I haven't been doing combat missions, but I have always found it comical how many people I get that's like, oh, you really need to switch to fixed weapons, and I'm like, guys, you have not seen some of my earlier episodes where all I had was fixed weapons, and I couldn't hit an anaconda if it was stopped right in front of my face, you know? Yeah, it cracks me up. It's not really that it's not viable. I think that's something that I've learned, and I've kind of been trying to, I don't know about anybody else, but lately I've been trying to kind of experiment with my games. And what I mean by that is, so let's let's put it this way. When I was growing up, I always picked, like if you're playing an RPG, right? Good old Champions of Norath or something. By the way, probably one of my favorite games ever. And they need to make, like, a PS4 remake of it. I'm just saying. Anyways, moving on. I don't want to get into a rant. I mean, it's not like I don't have time, but I don't want to get into a rant. Anyways, but so RPGs, Skyrim, you know, Elder Scrolls games, not so much games like Witcher, because Witcher's kind of one of those more, I call them directed RPGs, where it's like you're playing a specific character, you kind of have specific weapons, and like you can't really say, you know, I only want to use a crossbow. I mean, you could, but the game would be incredibly more difficult than, you know, not just using a crossbow and bombs or whatever. So, you know, growing up, though, I would always pick, like, the barbarian or the tanky guy that's like, I don't want to die, ever. So, give me the dude with the heaviest armor and, like, a two-handed greatsword, and I'm just gonna go, you know, wail on people. And that was kind of my play style for a lot of things. Even in stuff like, you know, Call of Duties or things like that, it was like, where's the rocket launcher, you know? I don't want a sniper rifle, I want a rocket launcher. That kind of thing. And I don't know if it was I don't think it was a boredom thing. I think it was more just as I got better at games, and especially when I got into studying and learning game development things, I kind of I grew an appreciation for the developer vision. Like, basically, they don't put any... I don't think... I mean, there are things in games that don't work the way the developers think they will. I mean, that's kind of... It's almost like movies, right? You know, you get that line that sticks and becomes a tagline for a movie, and basically the directors and writers thought it was just a pass-off phrase. They weren't really worried about it. Didn't think it would be a big deal, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel like that happens to game developers, where they'll do features and things that they think will be viable or be a big deal or whatever, and then, you know, when you get reviews or a lot of fan base, then you find out nobody ever really plays them. Now, I will say, there isn't that nobody plays them, it's just not a very common way to play. It's like Elite. I mean, exploration is a big thing. Combat is definitely a big thing, and what's the other one? There's three main pillars. Oh, trading. Trading is probably one of the biggest, and then I would say probably followed closely, if not neck and neck, or in its place by combat. I don't really know. I think people play this game more as a trader than a combatant. I tend to play it as a combatant, but I'm pretty sure trading would probably be the main way people play Elite. Just a thought, kind of my opinion on the idea. And I'm sure combat is right up there. And then you'd have exploration, but then you have stuff like mining, that I'm sure there are some players out there that do it, but I don't know of any of them. Like, I've never heard anybody be like, dude, you need to play as a miner. You know, mining is where it's at, man. Now, granted, I don't actually, I mean, most of the people I've talked to that play this are, like, in the comments and things of that nature, but, but anyways, my point is that as I got into developing and things like that and learning it, I kind of grew an appreciation for what developers see and what they'd like to see players do and things like that. So at some point, a few years ago, I started kind of diversifying. Like, if I always play as the barbarian guy, right? Or whatever, then it's like, well, maybe I should play as a mage or a rogue or something. You know, just doing different stuff that I don't usually play as. Especially in games that I've played before, like Skyrim and things like that. It's like, you know, you've done it a bunch of times, so it's kind of like, okay, let's play this one as an archer or something. You know, picking different classes and things of that nature. And so lately I've been kind of doing that, where when I play things and stuff, I kind of try and pick the thing that I wouldn't normally,
Frameshift drive charging.
you know, like it's not my go-to style of play. But I don't actually, to be honest, I don't actually know where that was going. I brought that point up to make a point about something.
3,
Maybe it was the exploration and mining that we've kind of been playing on this one. Oh, that's kind of what it was that there are some things that people will talk about that I don't really know about because I haven't really played that way, and sometimes that I run into that where I think to myself, does anybody ever play this way? And so that's kind of where I was thinking of was, you know, does anybody ever actually do, you know, like, for an example would be something like in Skyrim or something, you know, does anybody ever actually play like an alchemy build, you know, where you do like one-handed weapons, sneak, and like your main damage comes from the poisons that you can make and coat your blades with, you know, stuff like that, where you're kind of like, is this viable? Like, does anybody actually play this way, kind of thing? And there's games like that with like RPGs like Skyrim or Elite or whatever. Whenever there's like kind of a diverse choice, you know, of how you want to play and how you're kind of going about doing things, there's always to me that question of like, even when I try and do something a little different, you know, like, wait, where's my target point? There it is. You know, like if there's if you always play as a mage, okay, well now I want to try it as a barbarian. Or if you always play as the tank, then you want to try as a mage or whatever. You know, there's kind of the main, but then there's the really obscure, like the alchemy stuff and things, where you're like, when you look at it in a game and you see, you know, a build or something, you're like, does anybody actually do this? Like, is that a thing? You know, is there ever a build that's focused? I think of that with Witcher 2. Well, also, I was referring to 3, but 2 or 3, really. That, you know, there's like the signs and the combat trees and stuff like that, but there's like a whole alchemy tree for your potions and things like that, and I'm like, does anybody ever just like max these out and use nothing but alchemy build? Like, is that a thing? Does that ever happen? You know, because some of it just, I don't see how it can compete, basically, with some of the other structure build styles, whatever you want to call them. There's just some there's kind of like reasons that they're the main pillars, you know?
Fuel scoop disengaged.
And I think Elite's kind of the same way in that manner, that like,
Drive charging.
you know, it's one of those, like I said, like mining. It's like, does anybody ever just like actually, all they ever do is mine? Because it just, I don't know, I just can't see it. It's like, it just doesn't seem as fun. But, you know, that's part of the intrigue of meeting other players, as far as when people in the comment sections talk to me about stuff, or seeing articles or other YouTubers do, you know, things like that, is it's interesting to see what other people come up with when a game is freeform or open and there's choice and stuff to it. It's really kind of interesting to see something that seems so foreign to one is like, oh yeah, this is how I always do it, you know. For example, they changed the magic system and stuff, and I keep coming back to the Elder Scrolls, mainly because of how freeform the game structure always has been, like that you could kind of pick and choose what you wanted to do, but also because of the release of the special edition, or the remastered that came out not too long ago. Because I have it on PC, I got it for free, so I've been playing the crap out of it. And I'm having a lot of fun. Actually, I've also gotten back into the Elder Scrolls Online, which at first I was kind of like mixed. It was fun, but it wasn't great. And when they just did that one Tamriel patch, where now you can go anywhere you want and the alliances don't really matter anymore, at least for playing amongst other players, and things like that, it really changed. It really changed the game a lot, to where I had a moment the other day that was a little odd and very unexpected, where I was playing Skyrim But because I have played Skyrim so many times, it was kind of like, even though it looked better and things like that, unless I add mods or something, there wasn't really any like new quests or things to do. So I had a moment where part of me was like, this is so much fun and it looks cool and blah 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 blah. And there was just a really quick flash where I was like, but maybe I should go over and continue on Elder Scrolls Online because I kind of want to see where this quest leads that I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. And I had a moment where I was like, holy crap, I actually want to play ESO more than I want to play Skyrim right now. This is really weird. I never thought that would happen. So I think that's more of a testament to how much they've done with ESO to bring it up to kind of to where it feels like more of a Skyrim. Or, I shouldn't say Skyrim, it actually just feels more like a regular Elder Scrolls game now. But now it's bigger because it always had more content, but now it actually feels better. So, they've definitely done a lot with it. There's a lot of improvement, and for those of you that may not be aware, Elder Scrolls is one of, like, if not my favorite series, and I mean, I know a lot of people say that, I do too sometimes, like, I'll say it's one of my favorites and things. But Elder Scrolls really could be like the top dog. It could be my favorite game series of all time. It's just got such a rich story and gameplay elements and everything is you know, very freeform. You can kind of do whatever you want to do, play it however you want to play. And one of the things with they kind of restructured the magic system. I think it was around 4 in Oblivion, because I actually reinstalled like Oblivion and Morrowind and stuff, and because I'm on a huge Elder Scrolls kick right now. Between the Skyrim remastered and the ESO updating and adding and changing things, I'm kind of like all about Elder Scrolls right now. And so I reinstalled them because I think I'm going to actually go back and play through them because I feel like it'd be fun to do. And I don't remember much of Morrowind. I was a lot younger when I played Morrowind. It was on a friend of mine's Xbox and stuff. It wasn't even my game. And then I bought it for PC a few years later and played it and stuff, but it was years ago, so I really don't remember too much about it. Like the main story, I don't think I ever completed the main story, to be honest. Because, like I said, when I first played it, it was on a friend's system, so if he wasn't around, I didn't have the game. And when I got the Game of the Year edition, like a couple years after that when it came out, I think I got more caught up with Blood Moon, the expansion, because I love wolves. They're like, you know, if I had a spirit animal or something, it would be wolf. No, like, hands down, without question, wolves are like my favorite animal. Ever. There is no one of my... No, wolves are just, like, the best thing ever. In my opinion, let me preface, you know. But anyways, so I got caught up in Blood Moon. I remember Blood Moon, because it had to do with, like, all about werewolves and things like that. It was really cool. But I honestly don't remember ever completing the main game for Morrowind. Like, I really don't know what happened in the main game. I've completed Tribunal. It was cool. I completed Blood Moon. It was awesome. But the rest of it, I remember next to nothing. So I reinstalled it. And I was going to go through and play it and stuff like that. I went through and did, like, this... just because it looked so terrible, I went through and installed, like, this super graphics overhaul mod thing, which was really cool. And very... in-depth. I mean, it did all kinds of stuff, like, updating-wise. It was definitely an overhaul. But, so what was interesting, though, was I was going back through, like, the Morrowind, and I did not remember some of the gameplay mechanics being the way that they were. Like, I gotta look up and see if your magicka ever naturally recharges or not, because it just did not seem to be coming back at all. I mean, it might be that I'm, like, really low in level or something and haven't, like, unlocked that ability or something, but it just seemed like really, really low on the whole recharge thing. And I was wondering, like, did they focus more on, like, potions and things in that one, and it wasn't until, like, Oblivion where you had, like, magicka regen and things of that nature. But Oblivion, I think, started kind of changing the magic around a bit. And then Skyrim obviously was like, you could really end up being OP as a mage. And so that was kind of interesting, because I don't think I've ever actually played Skyrim as a full-blown, like, tank. You know, the dual-wielding, or not dual-wielding, but, like, the two-handed Daedric axe with the Daedric armor, you know, stuff like that. I usually always ended up being, like, a sneaky mage. I think like if you're going off the ESO classes, I think it's a Nightblade that is my preferred play style, where you're sneaky and you use like a dagger, but then you have like spells and things. Because let's be honest, other than like big bosses like dragons and things, if you're fighting people in Skyrim, invisibility and like sneak attack backstab type thing is like, I mean, one shot like anything. It's great. So, you know, but anyways, that's kind of what I was thinking of when I brought up the whole play. I honestly don't know where I was going with that point, to be clear. But since we're on the topic, that was kind of what I was thinking of when I brought up the whole variety in gameplay and things of that nature. Is how, you know, it's like, does anybody ever play focused on like potions and alchemy, and that's like their primary thing, is you're always putting poisons on stuff and whatever, or does it always end up being like weapons or magic kind of thing? And there's some things like unarmed, you know, like, does anybody ever just play with their bare hands, like, I'm just gonna punch a dragon to death, you know, kind of thing? I feel like there was, what was that one game? Oh, Diablo 3, for any of you that played Diablo 3, there was actually it was either an in-game achievement, or it was actually a trophy, or like a PlayStation trophy, or an Xbox achievement. I can't remember if it was one of those, or if it was just an in-game one alone. But there was some kind of an achievement for when you got to the end of the game, actually punching Diablo. Like, I think it was like deliver the final blow with a bare hand kind of thing. I was like, that's hilarious, you know. So it's one of those, I've never like maxed out unarmed skill, ever. I don't think I've ever done that in any Elder Scrolls game as many times as I've played through like all of them. Never just sat down and like maxed out my unarmed skills, you know, and perks and everything to where like I could just go punch everybody. I feel like if I did that, I would have to like dress my character in like robes or something, and you know, name them something, you know, some kind of like Zen name, and it's like, I am the master of the quivering dragon palm, you know, that kind of thing. Because that would be funny. But yeah, I don't know. And then, I mean, don't get me even started on mods. That once you start adding mods into an Elder Scrolls game, it's a whole other game. I joked with a friend of mine one time, we were talking about him, and I was like, it's one of the only games where you can walk around as a medieval knight carrying Cloud's sword using a Sharingan from Naruto. You know, it's like, and use and have like Jedi robes or something, or tech armor or something from a different game series. Like, there's just all kinds of mods. One of my favorites with mods though is magic overhauls, when they like add spells. Those are so much fun. I remember specifically in Oblivion, there was one mod. It was, I forget the name. It was like started with an A, and it was like arcane. Oh man, I can't remember how. I can't remember what it was, but it ended up being like, oh, it was M's. It was like Midas's magic, something. I can't remember what the other one for, but it was like triple M, and it added like 400 plus spells or something. It had stuff where like you could call meteors down from the ground. There was one that actually mimicked a nuclear explosion, like an A-bomb. You could cast it, and when it hit, it would actually nuke stuff. And I was just like, this is so much fun. But I will say, the one thing that I miss in Skyrim from Oblivion is the open lock spells. And that was vanilla. That wasn't even a mod. I do miss the open lock spells. Because I remember on Oblivion one time I had maxed out my, whatever it was, alteration, I think, skill, and you could craft your own spells, and so I ended up making an open lock of, like, master level, and it was on touch, and it cost, like, all of my magic, but it basically meant that nothing could stay locked for me. Like, it made for the perfect Thieves Guild guy, because I could just walk up to something and be like, whomp, and, you know, you just put your hand on a on a chest and it would just open the lockbox and things. I have to admit, I have not played the first two because they're so old. I know that Bethesda actually released them for free, and I did download them. Like I said, I'm kind of on an Elder Scrolls kick, so I may go back and play them at some point. I actually thought about, I don't think there would be a whole lot of interest in it, but I did actually think about it. Let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of people have talked about doing like Skyrim playthroughs because of the special editions, but I'm almost tempted to do like a arena playthrough, like a let's play of the original game. You know, and actually do it in, like, order. You know, do Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, all that stuff. I would find it fun just for the nostalgia, but I understand completely, and I don't even know if I could do it, of just how terrible the graphics were and things like that. So I don't know if I could even follow through with it or not, but... Like, seriously, though, like, it's actually something I'm considering, that if there were a demand for it, and people are like, yeah, that would be nostalgia crazy, that'd be awesome, you know. If there was actually a demand for it, I think I would probably do it, because that would be kind of fun. Just for the nostalgia point of view. Just for that. Would make it kind of interesting. But, I still say, Skyrim was an awesome game. Still is an awesome game. But I have to admit, out of all of the games, I do think Oblivion is my favorite Elder Scrolls game. I think it was just the most diverse and had the most versatility to it. Like I said, the spells, there was more you could do with them. There was a lot of different spells. There was spell crafting. There was a broader range of terrains because it was in Cyrodiil, which was kind of the happy medium of everything. So if you went north, you got snow. If you went south, you got kind of the marshlands and things like that. You know, like, it was kind of cool that it had a little bit of everything. Okay, I actually need to shut up for a second here, and we need to set our next waypoint, which should be a couple hundred light years away. I looked over and I'm like, wait, that is way too far away. This is where I want to go. That's better. Alright, like I said, I hope we can make this. We got 240. Let's plot a course. Okay. It looks like one full set. So this is probably like 10 jumps, give or take. 9. Okay, I have been exploring for too long. I'm actually able to guess this kind of crap now. And we'll pull up our system map here. Like I said, I know everybody's probably... Again, the one time I decided to do it, there's like 2 stars, that's it. I couldn't plan this. I couldn't plan it if I tried. Alright. So we got 9 more jumps. Whew. Sorry if I'm rambling, but I know I've mentioned it before where there's really not a whole lot else to do. I'm just kind of exploring, so... And most everybody seems okay with it, but... The stars are definitely getting more dense, though, which is awesome. I love that effect. It's so cool that they didn't use, like, a standard skybox for that. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of them, and like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of the online one. I mean, I had it. I got it when it came out for console because the PC, when it first came out on PC, was kind of rough. It was kind of like, I like the setting because I'm a sucker for an Elder Scrolls game. Now wait a minute, what the? Oh, that was weird. I don't have any orbit lines. There it goes. That was really weird. I was like, hold on a minute, I'm gonna run into this thing.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive.
So yeah, I mean, I played the beta actually. Now that I think about it, I actually did. Wait, I don't think we were allowed to record it. Did we record it? No, Adrian Wannafly and I did the beta for the PC edition when it first was coming out, but I think we had an NDA for footage? No, I think we did record stuff because I did do... I don't know. I can't remember. But I know we did a review type of thing on it. I don't remember if we did like Let's Play episodes or if we just did like recorded footage and then just did a review overall. I mean, I won't sugarcoat it. I mean, even you can go back and it's still on my channel and stuff. You can go back and watch them. And the first review of it that we did for the beta, it was kind of one of those, is it fun? Yes. Is it worth buying and paying a monthly subscription for? It was kind of like, no, not really, no. And that hurt because, like I said, it's probably one of my favorite series, if not my favorite series, just flat out. So it was hard. The setting and stuff, I mean, you can't go wrong with the setting. I mean, you got to see all kinds of places that either the last time you saw them, it was really old, and so it didn't look that great, or you've never seen them before. And I didn't have all the DLCs and stuff at the time, but like the Orsinium and stuff, I don't think they've ever shown the Orc mainland type of thing. So stuff like that, I mean, you can't beat the setting. And the graphics and stuff were still really good. It really came down to gameplay. It felt like a normal MMO with an Elder Scrolls skin. And it didn't really have the gameplay that made it feel like an Elder Scrolls game. And I think two things happened. The console edition was much better because it was more action focused, and they had done UI improvements and, you know, a bunch of balancing things and whatever. I did scan here, right? I think I did. Oh well. But the I think the biggest thing was this one Tamriel patch. I didn't realize one of the things that was wrong. And that's that in the original Elder Scrolls games, even through Skyrim, there are no level requirements for anything. I mean, I don't think there is for... There might be for equipment or something, like you have to be a level something to wear. I don't think there is, though, actually, now that I think about it. There's, like, skill requirements and things, but I don't think there's, like, you can't wear this, you're not a level 12. But the bigger thing is quests. There are no, like, quest restrictions for level. Now, you might be biting off more than you can chew, granted. But there's never really, like, a... This is a level 15, and you're, like, a 2, you shouldn't do that. It's just, hey, I need your help. Okay, what do you need? And it gives a more immersive feel, because you can kind of go do whatever you want. And that's what the one Tamriel patch kind of does, is it, like, scales the quest to your level type of thing. Now, I've mentioned before, I don't know how that impacts the whole relativity to weapons stuff. I mean, I've been playing it, and it doesn't seem to make it unbalanced. I mean, I've still died a couple of times and things like that, so it's not like, oh, this is just easy mode now because nothing can hurt you. But I don't really know under the hood how they're making all that work. But it does end up feeling more like a typical Elder Scrolls game, where basically you get somebody that walks by on the street and they're like, hey, can you help me? And you're like, sure, where are you going? You know, that kind of stuff, as opposed to, can you help me? Yeah, I'll just come back like 9 hours from now when I'm at the proper level. So there's that. But, so that was a big improvement, amongst other things. I mean, they did all kinds of under-the-hood stuff with that patch. It wasn't just the level scaling and stuff. I mean, they did a ton with that patch. It was like a 20 gig update or something, which even for an MMO is huge. And I think one of the things that adds a little character and a little substance and makes it really feel like an Elder Scrolls game is some of the DLCs that they did. Now, I'm not as big of a... I mean, we all know where I stand on DLCs. Anyways... But, I'm not a big fan of them making it purchasable DLCs. I feel like it should have been something that should have been just in the game. But when they added the Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood, it really made it feel like an actual, like, Elder Scrolls world now, you know. Especially where they put them. Like, I don't remember, but I don't think you had, I don't think you had the Gold Coast area until the Dark Brotherhood DLC. So it was really, really cool going back to like Kvatch and what was the other one? Anvil and stuff like that, that it was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I remember some of these places and things. It was interesting though, because they take place in different times. Like, chronologically, Elder Scrolls Online is the oldest game, by far. So it's kind of one of the, as far as I know, at least according to the chronology timeline I read. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's like the oldest game in terms of where it takes place. So it was interesting that, like, in Oblivion is one of the only times you see Kvatch, and it was like decimated the first time you show up. So you never really got to see what it looked like, and it was kind of interesting going to Kvatch in the Elder Scrolls Online because it's not blown up. I mean, granted, it's hundreds of years ago, so it doesn't look quite the same as you might expect because things haven't changed and stuff the way they have in the future, but it was still cool because you get to go back and revisit some of these places, and like Skyrim has Riften and Windhelm and stuff in Windhelm. I haven't been there, but as far as I know, it's not like all dilapidated and stuff like it was in Skyrim. So stuff like that is really kind of neat to go back to other places. And it's the first time we've been able... Well, I shouldn't say that. It's the first time we've got to go back to Morrowind.
Fuel scooping complete.
Not Solstheim. Because Solstheim was in Skyrim's DLC for the Dragonborn.
Frameshift drive charging.
Which is kind of a Morrowind province. But, anyways, you get my point. That you get to revisit a lot of cool places and things, which was really, really neat. But, so setting... I mean, you can't beat the ESO for setting. I mean, it's the biggest Elder Scrolls game there is, kind of thing, in terms of locations and locales. You can go all over the place. It's great. But it really just didn't feel like an Elder Scrolls game. It was set in that world, but it just didn't feel like it had the game. And since they've done the DLC packs, like adding the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild and like the one Tamriel update and all those put together, when you kind of smash it all together into one package, it's actually starting to feel like a big, gigantic Elder Scrolls game, which was really, really cool and welcomed. So it seems I have babbled long enough that we have arrived. So now the question is, where in the world is the station? Let's try and cheat a little bit and use the system map, because because this. Let's see if there's... I don't see any others. So, this means that there's a spaceport. Success. Alright, where are we now? Let's get up over here. I may cut this part out because we are running pretty low on time. And getting over here is going to be a little bit of a slow-going process. Alrighty, so we are on approach here, and as you can see on my map, there's people! Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Civilization. It's crazy. Alright, let me see if I actually remember how to do this. It has been a little bit since I pulled this off. This moves us a little faster, but I want to go straight down, or as straight as possible. Too fast for orbital cruise, but you can handle it. Or maybe not. My hull integrity just went down a couple points. Whoops. I guess it's holding me here until I slow down or something? It's actually loading. Shh. Okay, so I did this probably the hardest way possible. That when I got pulled out of Super Cruise, I just let it go straight down. Oh boy. Speaking of, it would help to get a docking request.
Landing permitted. Clear for landing on docking bay 07.
Okay. And if my memory serves, I don't think I have a auto-docking computer on this guy. So, we're gonna have to do things the old-fashioned way.
Landing gear deployed.
Which is fun.
Before approaching the landing area.
Okay. I haven't actually done this in a minute. And actually, I don't know that I've ever done this on a planet. In case that wasn't painfully obvious. Ooh, I am not facing the right way. This is not good. Actually, I don't think they'll let me land this way, will they? Nope. Okay.
Landing gear retracted.
Alright. Let me get straightened up here. Alright, let's try this again. Boy, that's a sound I haven't heard in forever. We have found civilization!
Clear to disembark. I hope we can be of service, Commander.
Yeah, me too. Otherwise, this would be crabby. Wow, I haven't landed anywhere in so long. Repair all. Yes, please. Refuel. Yes, please. This is all different. Advanced maintenance. Ooh. Yeah, stupid paint stuff. That was weird. Okay. Are you happy now? Okay, mission board. Oh, there's missions and stuff. Passenger lounge. Universal cartographics. That's what I want, I think. Maybe. Come on. Sell page. Okay, so that's 402. I mean, I wasn't expecting to break the bank or anything, but I am hoping for a little bit more. But let's see. So we have 7,255,000 at the moment. That's 400,000. Let's see what the next... The other thing is how many pages I have.
Incoming message.
Hold on. I am selling things. You are the first to discover stuff. Oh, so we get bonuses. Well, would you look at that? How come I can't scroll that, though? Whatever. Next page is 655, which is awesome. So that would put us at over 1 million. And more first to discovers. This is probably going to take a minute, actually. Okay, yes, that's wonderful. What is this? Oh, it's too close. That's 534, so that's 1.5 million. So we're definitely making money off of this. It's just taking forever. I mean, this is a long time coming to get, you know, stuff. 308. Okay, that's got to be our last one. So we were at what? 7.255. And we're now at 9.268. So it's roughly about 2 million. We got about 2 million credits off of all that. Oh, there's still more. Okay. 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 I'm tempted to pause this, actually.
Incoming message.
Because this might take a minute. Okay. So... when all is said and done, we got 11.1, which is just shy of basically 4 million off of that. So granted, I mean, it's taken us a long time to amass all that, but that's kind of awesome. We may explore more of this stuff, and let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments and things. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. Let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments and whatnot, as far as if we should check any mission things or whatever, that kind of stuff. But I do think if I can get out of this... Oh, wait, maybe I can... I want to check my messages, but it's got me stuck in this mode. I didn't mean to hit that button. Let's see. We are now a surveyor rank explorer, which is awesome. Unable to get an update mission list from the server. Great, that's fine, whatever. Let's close this out. And let's see. No, dagnabbit. How do I get... Ah, there we go. Promotion to Pathfinder. Colonial Council reputation change. Promotion to Trailblazer. So the Colonial Council, I think, is who runs this station. And we've been raised to Cordial. We have the Trailblazer pilot rank. Elevated to Friendly. And then we have Pathfinder. Wait, Pathfinder? I thought it said... Surveyor. It does say Surveyor. It doesn't know what it's talking about. So anyways, we're going to wrap things up here for this episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in the meantime. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.